Hey, Dr. Tate again with the painfreediet.com and author of the 14-day pain-free diet. If you guys were plugged in, looked at the first video, I talked about this whole process of what happens with injury, inflammation, and pain. We presented the idea of a dietary injury, which means certain foods that we're eating on a routine basis could cause more inflammation in the gut, and as a result of that, decrease our ability to recover from that injury, decrease pain, and have a host of downstream effects such as decreasing growth hormone, decreasing testosterone, and you know what comes as a result of that. So we presented that in pretty good detail in the first video. I know it was fairly long, but if you didn't check it out, you'll want to look at that first before you jump into this video here. So what we talked about was two options. If you have pain, you have inflammation, one is to take NSAID medications. Those would be ibuprofen or Motrin, naproxen, Aleve. There's a host of other ones. But what that's going to do is suppress that inflammatory response, really the inflammatory response we want to heal and recover, have our body remodel that tissue and make it even stronger than before. So again, not the option I suggest for most of the people that see me. It is something that people do fairly routinely and have done for a long period of time, and it really can have a host of downstream effects that we want to avoid. So in the program that we lined out in our program, my co-author Nick Pino and myself, we outlined what's called a 14-day pain-free diet. And I'm going to walk through the process of what's in that program and give you another option to treat inflammation other than taking the ibuprofen and naproxen that maybe you've done for a long time. So in our program, what we developed is an SOS method. And this is, again, if you looked at the first video, I talked about injuries and the types of injuries. S was a significant traumatic injury like tearing your ACL. O is an overuse type injury. And the last one was this systemic inflammatory process that happens in the body. And as a result of that can promote more pain and stiffness and swelling elsewhere, whether it's joint pain, muscle pain, some fatigability, or lack of recovery after workouts, even if given appropriate time. So what we wanted to line out in our program is some alternative steps than taking those medications. So the first is what we call systematic introduction or integration, and to some degree it's going to be a little bit of elimination. Now most of you watching this are probably pretty health conscious. You know what foods can be inflammatory: sugar, trans fats, all those kind of things. If you're feasting on boxes of donuts and bags of chips, well, you definitely have to start there. If you're eating a pretty clean, or what you think is a fairly clean diet, we're going to get down to a deeper level on what foods could still be problematic for you. I'm going to leave that to Nick in a subsequent video. So that's really step one. We're going to introduce that topic, walk you through the process of what foods, in addition to those known culprits, can be causing problem. Once we have you learn all the foods you should be incorporating, we want to optimize that for a period of time to allow the gut to heal. So in our program, we figured out that 14 days is a pretty good amount of time for most people. If you're fairly healthy, this allows your body to detox in a sense, allow that gut wall to heal, allow you to extract the food much better and decrease that inflammation. If 14 days isn't enough for some people, we have pushed the program a little bit longer, but even after 14 days, people are seeing a noticeable difference in how they feel and function. So we'll get into the types of foods, but you're going to optimize a lot of plant-strong foods in this component. Healthy vegetables, fruits, certain types of grains that are known to be less inflammatory, that kind of thing. And over the course of that 14 days, what Nick's done is create all the dietary categories. If you're trying to restrict certain things like gluten, dairy, otherwise, we've kind of built those into the recipes, and we have it kind of done for you for the whole period of time. So you don't have to sweat the details on what you can cook or not cook. So we had that done. After the 14 days, we want to do a systematic, very important people miss the boat on this is they'll just go full bore first day. Start eating all this food again that we asked people to take out, and you don't really have any information from that. What we want to do is very systematically do it one at a time. So you're going to take your first food, what you're going to introduce back, and look at day one. How do you feel? Do you get any immediate response to that? Most people can feel this right away. Nasal congestion, watering eyes, bubble guts, you're just gassy, distended, otherwise a lot of unpleasant things. But that can be immediate. Okay? What we want to look at is delayed, because this is where it's missed 9 out of 10 times. So this is day 2, 3, 4. So you're going to introduce this food day 1. You're going to go back to what you've been eating for 14 days, and then really pay attention to how you feel over days 2, 3, 4. If you feel okay, well, you get the green light. Food stays. If you don't feel okay, you want to take that food out, probably long term. So the program is really that simple. We line it out for you so you can take a step-by-step approach to this. Really get to the bottom of what foods can be promoting inflammation in the body, increasing more pain, stalling out your recovery from an injury, and to some degree your recovery between workouts, even if you're not dealing with an injury. Nick and I are going to be writing a whole different angle and program down the line based on more of the performance aspect and recovery. In our program right now with the 14-day pain-free diet, we're really looking at how can we complement, augment that response to recovery and injury to, again, go hand in hand basically with all the other stuff you may be doing from an exercise standpoint. So if you like what we've talked about in this video series, I encourage you to go to our site, thepainfreediet.com, check out the 14-day pain-free diet, and thanks again for Mike allowing us to post some information up here about this. I think it's going to be very useful for people, and really what I see in mainstream medicine really underutilized. So I think if you put some of this into play, certainly you're going to see the positive effects from that. Thanks again.